Hi everybody, Russ from My Amazon 11. Hope you are all safe and well. For your channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware anytime we put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. One day I'm going to say that in one breath. One day. Anyway, today's guest doing really good, doing bits, as the kids would say on the old podcast. It's WestHamOnline. How are we, my man?
Apart from my potato Wi-Fi, I'm doing quite well.
Apart from the potato Wi-Fi, doing very well. It's one of those things, isn't it? You think
Yeah.
that we live in a digital world now where we can't hug anyone, but it has to be all virtual, and everyone's Wi-Fi is crap. You think that surely that could have just sorted that all out by now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, mine's probably the worst I know.
Not the worst. I don't think I've had worse. I've had worse. Believe me, I've had worse. I think it was Ben Shepherd's one was bloody awful. He ended up having to do it. We had to do it on Zoom instead of this, and he had to pair his phone to his iPad to work it because his kids has basically used up all his bandwidth. Yeah. Oh dear! I mean, 30 years ago, no one give a shit about what Wi-Fi was or anything like that. But nowadays, it's all important, isn't it? Getting the old bits, per minute, and bits per whether it's download speeds and things like that. You particularly if you're gaming, isn't it? Particularly gaming, if you've got a shit internet connection, and halfway through FIFA, you just better take a penalty and it freezes.
Oh yeah.
I used to hate that.
I've gone through a few controllers.
Oh, and it's that lag thing. And it's just freeze, and then it would just go really, really fast. And he's like, bollocks!
Yeah.
It was always when I'm just about to get promoted from League 10 into League 9. Because I literally was so crap. I had a really good team, like all the best Premier League players, but I was just absolute dog. And it was always that. It was always that lagging thing. Oh, it used to wind me up so much. Anyway, we digress as we always. How are you doing, my man? How's things with you, buddy?
They're going well. As you said, I started my podcast last week. I'm doing all right on Instagram, Twitter. In my general life, it's going quite well. West Ham are obviously doing quite well, so it's all going well at the moment, apart from COVID.
Apart from COVID, yeah. Apart from the fact you can't go out anywhere. Apart from that, we're all right, aren't we? And yeah, the fact that West Ham are being very un-West Ham-like and still winning games and even losing matches, and people still are thinking that's a great loss, like we did on Saturday rather. It's just bizarre, isn't it? I'm still not used to it. I can't get used to this at all.
Yeah, I was delighted at the final whistle on Saturday, even though we lost, which is something I don't think I've ever been watching West Ham. Even under Bilic, when we lost, you'd often find we'd get smashed at times, like Swansea 4-1. Under Moyes, every game seems to be a battle.
Yeah, it's true, and it's just like I don't think I've ever finished. Yeah, we lost the game and been happy by losing only 2-1, but it was. It's just weird, isn't it? When you think about it, it's like Christ, the West Ham of old, like even like the beginning of last season, under Pellegrini. Last season, Pellegrini was here. It seems an absolute age ago when Pellegrini was here, and yeah, just hearing like losing 2-1. But it was like, well done, lads. We lost 2-1. It's like, it's just a bizarre concept. But as you said, it's nice. It's nice to see the boys. They just got to be a fight about them, haven't they? That's what I love about them at the moment. This team, they just got to fight, and they just keep going. I mean, that whole thing with Soufal at the end, crying on the floor. And it's like, Jesus, he really cares. That boy, he really cares. I love him. I love Soufal. Yeah. He's my pick for Hammer of the Year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. He's definitely in the top 5. Mine at the moment is probably Souček, but
yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind Souček and Soufal, Hammer of the Year and runner up.
Yeah.
The Slavia boys doing bits. Their chairman, their owner would be absolutely enamoured if that happened. In terms of because he loves us, doesn't he? Oh bless. He was cycling past us the other day. He cycled to the London Stadium the other day. Apparently, when he was in London. I thought, well, he had a picture of it. I think, but I don't think he actually's done it recently. He might have done actually because they played Leicester, didn't they? And they played Leicester, and I think he came down. Anyway. probably very much against COVID restrictions, to be perfectly fair. But hey ho.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, but it's all good, isn't it? It's all good. The podcast's going well, which is great. Your Insta and stuff like that. It's all going good, man. And you're popping up on all these YouTube channels I've seen all the time now, which is good, man. It's good for the old profile, isn't it?
Yeah. Instagram's sort of the main way I sort of got
Yeah.
onto the West Ham community, and now I'm just trying to, get involved with everything. I just really enjoy talking about West Ham, so there's no point me just sitting there doing nothing during this COVID time.
Yeah.
It's better for me to just talk about West Ham, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's why I started. That's why I started the channel for exactly the same reason, because I just was sitting here twiddling my thumbs, thinking, "Oh, let's have a chat about West Ham," and then it just sort of took off a little bit. But yeah, and it's good that loads of people are doing that, because we've got the opportunity now with things like YouTube, and as long as you got like a your phone or whatever, you can do anything now. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the power in this little device in your hand now. It's mental, isn't it? Someone said there was more computing power in your phone than there was on the rocket that went to the moon in Neil Armstrong or something ridiculous like that. It's
Yeah,
mental. But
yeah,
anyway,
it's
God, I
crazy.
sound so fucking old just saying that. Oh God, I'm going to be like cool. I'm going to be like, my daughter looks up to me because I'm on YouTube, and I've just made myself look just really ancient there, talking about the moon landing in 1960. I wasn't alive at the time. I'm not even 40 yet. So yeah, although I have had my COVID jab, but it's only because I'm a fat bastard rather than necessarily being over age. So anyway, moving on slightly. Why are you, obviously the Insta stuff and the podcast and obviously being on now? Why are you a West Ham fan? What's your story, my man?
So mainly because of my nan. My nan still is an absolutely massive West Ham fan. I'll be honest, my nan's probably one of my best friends. She's just an
Ah,
absolutely massive West Ham fan. She was brought up in the East End, lived a stone's throw away from the stadium. Just a huge West Ham fan, and my granddad as
yeah.
well was also a huge West Ham fan, and they go to the games with my dad and Steve Jones, and they'd
Jonesy,
sit,
friend of the channel.
yeah, they'd sit the seats up at the top of the stadium, and apparently eventually they got told off about it because they were using seats that weren't meant to be there. But they just go and sit up at the top of Upton Park. And my nan's been a season ticket holder home and away for about 40 to 50 years now.
Wow. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And then my dad supported West Ham because of that, obviously. And the other half of my family support Tottenham, so it was an easy choice.
Yeah, it was an easy choice. Easy choice now, being the top team in London. It probably didn't seem like it at the time when it was a choice made, but now it's like, yeah, we're brilliant. We're the top team in London. It doesn't matter now. But yeah, I know what you mean, and that's the thing. And that's what I love about all this, doing all these shows and talking to people. It's all about it's all about family, you know. It's all about family, as old Ray Winston would say. But it is, isn't it? It's true, and it's like the fact that you go, your nan and your granddad and Jonesy and and your dad, and it's just lovely, isn't it? And I think that's what people miss. It's not necessarily the going to see the matches, because at the end of the day you get a better view from your house and you can go to the toilet when you want. You doesn't have to commute there. You haven't got a stop go sign. Although maybe you have one outside your front door, maybe just in case. But it's about that sort of community spirit. And I know, hopefully, obviously, if everything goes all right, then we should have some fans back in the ground for the Sunderland Southampton game. I know they were talking about Gio and Gonzo talking about the boats and stuff like that, and that's what I can't wait. I can't wait to get everyone back in there. At the end of the day, it's great for me at the moment because I do get a car park space. I'm home in 20-25 minutes. It's great, but it's horrible the other side because it's not what you go to football for. You go to football. It's like the other day. I think the club put on I think the club put something up yesterday, and it was from the Southampton game, obviously the last game with full capacity fans, and that was February last year. And
Yeah.
I think, I think I put a comment on it. It was really weird because obviously Antonio scored, and there was a crowd noise, like a genuine crowd noise, not like an AI crowd noise,
Yeah.
and it sounded so weird.
Yeah.
It's going to sound well weird. Obviously, hopefully if everything's okay, come next season when we do our Champions League qualifier matches, we'll have 60,000 in the stadium,
Yeah.
or even Europa League, whatever. I'll even
Yeah.
take Europa Conference.
European
You know what I mean?
Conference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, worst comes to worst. Worst comes to worst, Betway
Yeah.
Cup. Betway
Yeah.
Cup. I don't care. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
guaranteed the Betway Cup. There'll be 60,000 people there. Watching us lose to Portsmouth or something like that. But
Yeah.
and that's what I think people can't wait. And it's at least this season, if we can get one game in, it will show the players. It'll give some appreciation to the players for what they've had for a great season. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's about that. Do you remember your first game?
Ooh. It
Oof.
was probably in like 2003, my first
Yeah.
game. I've absolutely no clue what the game was. I'll be honest, in my first few years of my life, I didn't really like football until I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
8. I wasn't a huge football fan. And then I remember once we was a big memory of mine. I don't know why. We was in Turkey at a steakhouse in Turkey, me and my family, and we were talking about the West Ham team. And I
Yeah.
said, "So who plays for West Ham now?" And we were going through all the players, and Diame popped up, and because I don't know, maybe 10 then. And this was when I really started becoming a fan, and I was like, Diame, the Army's in the West Ham team, and I don't know, I don't know why I thought that, but so I started just talking about the Army, and then I heard about all the other players, and I thought I'm just going to start watching the games, and
Yeah.
pretty much from the first game I watched, all the games I started watching properly, I just immediately had a passion for West Ham, holes in the walls, all this sort of thing, just through watching the game, and
Yeah.
yeah. And now it's probably one of the main points of my life.
Yeah, it just takes over, doesn't it? Without realizing, I mean, it's just some people obviously, who I've spoken to, and they'd say, yeah, literally, I was West Ham, I just remember going to my first game, but then I just blinked, and 50 years later, I'm here. And
Yeah,
I'm a season ticket holder, and I can't remember how I got here, but I got here, and
yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it's all about. That's what I love about it, because it's just like you get so many. It gets into your skin, doesn't it? Without realizing, it's like you know, it's like one of those, like an aftershave, and you put it on, and it just ends up always being your smell. And that was it with West Ham. You
yeah,
start realizing I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh God, I can't do this meeting because I've got to do I've got West Ham game that day, and it sort of takes over your
yeah,
life without realizing. And I love it, absolutely love it. I just think I wouldn't change it for the world. Would not change it for the world. I think it's a great club. As you said, your family have been, fans for 50, 60 years, and then your kids will end up being West Ham fans, and their kids, and it just goes on and on and on. Beautiful club, beautiful club. Fans are incredible. Fans are
yeah,
amazing. They really are amazing. And as you said, with we've obviously with COVID and everything, it's a bit of a shitter, but the fans, as you said, you interact with people on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. How cool the West Ham fans are. I think they're a
yeah.
special bunch. They're a special bunch, man, aren't they? A special bunch of fans.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's what we have on this channel. Obviously, we have West Ham fans, a lot of West Ham fans. Over 10,000 West Ham fans, which is amazing, watching it. But also we had a load of, I know we have Tottenham fans and Liverpool fans and Chelsea fans and Man United fans, and we have a few Liverpool fans who come on the live streams, and it's
Yeah,
because we're people, we are still a lot of people's second team, and particularly
yeah,
we're being this sort of plucky team who are fourth in the league at the moment. we're going to get a lot more of those second team fans back again after sort of a
Yeah.
lot of people left us after going to London Stadium, but we're going to get a lot more
Mhm.
back in there now. So no, I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. It's special club.
Yeah.
Lots of times in the old obviously I'm parts of Facebook groups and things like that, and you see people have been struggling and stuff like that, have had adversity over sort of lockdown, and obviously, I mean, the West Ham, the guys set up the West Ham, the Hammers work and support Facebook group, and got
Mhm.
loads of fans like work and stuff like that. Oh, Danny and stuff and Neil, it's I love it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love being part of it. It's an identity, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
You'd always see a West Ham fan. You'd
Yeah. You
always
know
see
what they're
one.
like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see two Tottenham fans walking down the road going, "Come on, you Spurs." No, they don't say it.
Yeah.
They just ignore each other. But we always see, and I live in Hornchurch. So I'm literally in the heartland of it. You
Mhm.
literally will see, West Ham fan the other side. And, come on, you Wines! It's like all the time,
Yeah.
Wines, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Whereabouts are you, man? Whereabouts do you live?
Well, I live in Essex. I live in a place called Benfleet.
Yeah, so proper in the
It's
heartland
all
as well,
right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Proper in the heartland.
Um, but going back to that thing that you were saying about how you always recognise a West Ham fan, it's
Yeah,
like the complete opposite for Man United fans because you always find they won't have that Manchester accent, but all the West Ham fans you can you can tell by most of their accents.
yeah. And they have a certain swagger. I think the West Ham
Yeah.
fans, particularly now,
Yeah.
fourth place swagger, top team in London swagger about us. It's almost like we're walking around in sort of a daze, a bit like a disbelief. So
Yeah.
you can tell West Ham fans are like, we're fourth. That's just a bit weird, but yeah. So no, I know what you mean. Yeah, as I said, the accents, the old Man U fans, some were all over the place, really, aren't they? But yeah, I remember once. I say this story quite a bit, but it always makes me laugh about West Ham. I went to take my car to be serviced, and just around the corner from me. So I walked around there, and then I had like a West Ham top on, and the guy, the mechanic, was obviously a West Ham fan, mid of all church. He's going to be a West Ham fan. We must have been speaking up West Ham for about an hour, and I was like, "Yeah, can I get my keys? Because I need to go home." Um, drove around, pulled out my house, like parked up my house, literally opened my door, got out of the car. This old guy, he had a Zimmer frame, bless him, walking up the hill. He didn't even break stride. He didn't even stop. Right.
Yeah.
As I got out of the car, he shouted out, "Still haven't signed no one, have we?" Literally just carried on. Didn't even acknowledge me like personally, but just shouted out to me,
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, same West Ham, But so I love them. Or when you go on holiday, I always end up going on holiday, and I can sniff out a West Ham fan from about 20 yards around the pool. Um,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
wife
Yeah.
hates
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
She hates it. She hates it because literally I will have in my and I can't. Soon we can go back on holiday. In my suitcase will be full of West Ham shirts. Like just I literally don't because I just wear them around the pool, isn't it? It's just easy to put one on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll sniff one out from about 20 yards, or it might even be a Chelsea fan or a Liverpool fan, but they'll come and talk to you because you're West Ham. You're approachable,
Mhm.
and there's always a connection. Whether it's Liverpool, there's obviously a big connection there, or Celtic, or Man City, or someone like that. You'll always bump into them. But it's I love them. I love it. I know, and it's nice that we're having this time now because we deserve it. We deserve it. We've had a real,
Yeah.
up and down. We're always up and down, but it's nice to at least
Especially
sort of
after last season.
last season. Yeah, the first half of the season was a disaster, and then Moisey sort of turned it round. And this season, yeah, and then hopefully, my only concern is next season. I'm typical West Ham, already thinking about next season now. There's people I've been talking to already who are like, "Oh, we don't want to qualify for Europe because we haven't got the squad size.
Yeah, I
Our
don't
squad
get you.
size." I was like, "Oh, just get over it.
Yeah.
Let's just let's qualify first, and then we'll worry about it." Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
we're always ready for the next bump in the road, and for me, I'm thinking, yeah, but next season, I'm worried. I'm not worried about our squad suffering over. I'm just worried because I just want a couple of good seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Sort of early 2000s, late 1990s, we were like fifth, seventh, eighth, something like that. That's a run we need like 2 or 3 seasons on the bounce where we're finishing in the top 10, then you know that you're building something, and Moyes is building something, and that's what I hope we can achieve. But look, we'll see. It's West Ham, innit? We know we supported them
Yeah.
long enough. We know it's West Ham. Anything can happen.
Yeah, but
Um,
the difference I find between now and the team that finished seventh in 15-16, this team is built on structure, resilience,
yeah,
hard work. That's something that despite what the delusional pundits want to say, that will get you up the league. No matter your quality, you saw Sheffield last season, ninth
yeah,
in the
yeah,
league. They've got about as much quality as a bag of Walker's crisps, but
yeah,
they were up the league. If
yeah,
we have the hard work and the determination that we have, coupled with the quality of the likes of Rice, Lingard, Touchwood, Ben Rama,
yeah.
we'll be up there.
Yeah, we will be, and not just that, I think, but also, for me, it's I mean, yeah, I mean, Sheffield United were like, as you said, last season, well organised, had the fans behind them, and I don't think, I think in some cases, I don't think people um, realize how much of an influence the fans can have. You look at
Yeah.
how the teams are performing really poorly this year. They're all in small grounds.
Hmm.
Bramall Lane, Burnley aren't doing great. West Brom aren't doing great. Fulham aren't doing great. Brighton aren't really doing great. And it's like these
Yeah.
teams have got smaller grounds. Where there's no difference. Literally, Sheffield United last season, as soon as restart happened, they fell like a stone.
Yeah.
And it's really. I think for us, I think actually we benefited. Not I know there's been this sort of, this controversy, but for me, I think we've benefited not having fans in the stadium to start with,
Hmm.
because that Newcastle game we were crap, and we know we would have been on their backs there because we knew that we had a really shit season at the beginning of the season, loads of real bad fixtures. Now I think it would just give us the extra 20% now,
Yeah.
with the fans back in the stadium, and I think the team is now different than it was at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, we haven't lost a game. We've lost 2 games in a row all season. Um, every time we've lost, we've either got a draw or we've won the last
Yeah.
or the next game. Even I mean, I think even like after Newcastle, we lost to Arsenal. We beat
Hmm.
Hull in
Wolves
between.
and Leicester,
Well,
weren't it?
yeah, Wolves. Yeah, so it's like all that type
Yeah.
of stuff. So, that shows the resilience of this team,
Yeah.
and hopefully we turn over Leeds on Monday. That's what would be
Yeah.
nice.
I think we will.
I think we will. I think Leeds are sort of yeah.
I think
I think
Moyes
that.
is too intelligent for
Mm.
their game style.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we put 3 past them at Ellen Road, didn't we? When realistically, it should have been all about
Yeah.
them, but no, it's all good, man. It's all good. Right, okie dokie. Let's talk about your 11 then, my man. So obviously, everyone we have on the channel, bar a few people, Harry Redknapp, Ian Bishop, Nigel Coker, have given their Hammers 11. So the idea being is you can pick whoever you want, whatever criteria you pick. It's up to you. The only rule is you have to be alive to see them play. So obviously, we'd have all put in Billy Bonds and Bobby
Bobby
Moore and
Moore.
Trevor
Yeah.
Brooking. We weren't around to see them. Your mum, you're not your mum, your nan. Your nan would have been
Yeah.
around, but not you, unfortunately. So unfortunately, it doesn't count. So you've had some others you have to pick instead. But the only rule, so that's the only rule, man. That is literally the only rule. So and we'll try and put it up as we're going along. So let's just get my banners ready. So who is in goal for the West Ham Online 11? Who's between the sticks, my man?
Um, Before I start, I want to say the whole criteria of this team is how high it would finish in the league. I've gone for Champions League spots here, um,
Nice, nice.
and I've gone for a specific period for each player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So, can you hear me still? I'll keep
Yeah,
on
I can hear you,
lagging.
man. I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. I can still hear you.
Fabianski in goal from the 18-19 season.
Love it, and I love the fact you've got their like prime Fabianski. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear, right, Fabianski. Tell me about Fabianski from the 18-19 season, then, man.
I thought he was our best player that season. I
Yeah,
thought he was unbelievable. I even remember when we lost to Bournemouth in the second game of the season, he made 2 saves from Callum Wilson that were unbelievable, low down.
yeah.
I think he made the most saves in the league that season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No idea. No idea. I'll give you that because I have no idea personally, man. But yeah, quite possibly knowing him because he was exceptional that season, wasn't he? That season he was. I mean,
Yeah,
he's one of those people who you bought. When we bought, I don't think we realised what a good keeper we had in our hands when we bought him. He was good at Swansea. He was good, but obviously
yeah,
because he went down, and it's like, yeah, it's like, but he's my only frustration with him is that we got him about two. I would have preferred to get him before he went to Swansea. Do you know what I mean? Then you've had
yeah.
those extra few seasons. He would be in the same fold as Ludic McCloskey, in terms of how people look at him and
Hmm.
rate him and stuff. So yeah, it was a shame, but I mean, he's just brilliant. And you tell obviously when he wasn't in the team last season what an impact he did make, because obviously he came, Roberto came in and basically that one decision basically cost Pellegrini his job,
Yeah,
really. So no, he's a top man,
yeah.
Fabianski. He's one of those guys as well. I just got utter confidence in him. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
literally, he'll, keepers previously, we would, the ball would come across and you'd go, oh, 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 we always saved it. Fabianski, literally, I won't watch him. I won't watch him pick it up. I know it's a shot. Yeah, Fab's got it. I'm looking at who he's going to throw it out on the pitch rather than him actually catching the ball because I have so much confidence in him. Um, he's just brilliant. I think it's fantastic. A great keeper.
Yeah.
Um, right, okie dokie. Let's put Fabianski in. Let me just do this. Okay, Fabianski's in. Who is left back? Let's go left back. Who's left back?
Right. I've gone for Creswell, but
Yep.
I didn't know which period, obviously, to go off. Was it this year or 15-16? I believe he got more assists this year than he did in 15-16.
Yeah.
But I do think he was better overall in 15-16 in terms of his link up with Payet, the way he bombed down the line. And I thought he was our third best player that season. So I've gone for Creswell 15-16. Just he was a brilliant signing the year before, I believe. And what a player he was that year.
What a player. And you're right, he's one of those players who, yeah, he's a different player now, isn't he, to when he was there. I mean, he was a tenacious sort of left back from Ipswich, bombing down the wing,
Yeah,
overlapping and I mean, he does a lot of that now, but for me, he's a different player now. He's more cultured. He's playing in a different position as well, really, as well. So, I think I mean, his renaissance is brilliant. I think, in terms of what he's brought since coming to this sort of back three that Moyes plays when he plays him. But I mean, not being funny, he still played him at left back in the back four as well. So,
yeah,
fair play to him. Fair play to him. Honestly, it takes some bottle to do that. He's had his injuries, but no, I love him. I think he's really, really good. He's been here for 6-7 years now.
hmm
And it looks like he'll be here for a lot longer, hopefully. So yeah, right, okie dokie. I like that, Mr. Cresswell from the wherever it was, 1450. I forgot. Season.
15,
I'm crap.
16.
I'm crap with my seasons. I forget. I'm so bad with seasons. It's ridiculous. I'm rubbish at quizzes when it comes to seasons. Right. Okay. Let's put Aaron in. Let's go right back. Let's go the other side. Who are we going to have?
It could only be one man. And unfortunately, I've not got much competition to choose from either. But I've gone for Vladimir Kufal.
Yeah.
As we said at the start, I don't know if we had it on record or not, but he is one of my hammer of the years.
Yeah.
Probably could be my selection in the end if he carries on this form. I think he's brilliant defensively, a decent passer, bombs down the line well. And that clip at the end of him in the City game really
Yeah.
showed how much he cares about the team. I think it'd be stupid to not put him in, and he's got to go in.
Yeah, I mean, for your time period, so to speak, yeah, there hasn't been. I mean, he's our best right back for 20 years, 20
Mhm.
years at least. Yeah, I'd say 20 years. Would I say that? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I think he's got more than Sebastian Schemmer. Yeah, I was thinking the Schemmer won Ham of the Year in whenever it was. But yeah, I think he's just like for 5 million quid as well. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
incredible, like value he got. And to be fair, we didn't turn our nose up to him, but it's like we thought we all went 5 million quid for a right back. We were thinking, what? You can't get anything good for 5 million quid for a right back. And to
yeah,
be fair, and he turned up that Leicester game, weren't it? He hadn't even trained. I think he did a bit of training on the Friday, maybe, and he just played like he'd been there all season.
oh yeah, it was
Um,
brilliant that game.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he? And
Hmm.
and obviously you're an Instagram man. I love the fact when he's on Insta and he takes pictures of him and Suchek after every game, like
Yeah,
like it's a competition. Like at the end of the day, he's going to have a collage of him and Suchek on all these different grounds. I love it. I love it. And I just think him and Suchek together. You know, obviously the game the other day, the Tottenham game, where we went down and Suchek ran over to him and someone dubbed it with the Titanic theme tune
yeah,
and brilliant, brilliant. And that's what I mean. There's this buzz around us now. We're doing stuff like
yeah,
that. It's like, I watch games now. It's funny. I watch games with like all of us at the stadium. We're on like our same sort of YouTube, same sort of walkie-talkie channel. If we hit the crossbar or hit a part, one of us guaranteed will go West Ham clips. Because we know
yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be a West Ham clip. I told clips this. He thought it was hilarious. But we'll just say clips. Yeah, clips. Good shout. Or, I know, Antonio rockets one 20 foot in the air.
yeah.
Astronaut clips. Yeah. Poor
The cat
Tiddles. Yeah,
appears.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lost Tidlos, whether it was the last. I love clips. He's
yeah,
so funny. Fair play to him. But yeah, Sufal is just brilliant, isn't he? I love him. Right. Okie
yeah.
dokie. We've got Cresswell. We got Kufal. Oh, sorry, Sufal. God, dear. First centre back. Who's going to be your first centre back, my man?
Right. I've struggled to come up with a season for this guy because he was just consistently carrying us at times. But I've gone for Winston Reid.
Yeah.
Um, I'd say he was at his best in 13-14.
Yeah. Yeah. 13, 14. Possibly, maybe even the season we went down, that first season we went down.
Yeah,
Possibly. But yeah, it's
possibly.
up
Yeah,
to interpret. That season made him the season of the champion. He was
hmm,
crap when we signed him. He was crap when
yeah,
we signed him. He wasn't very good. And then that championship season made him. And then, yeah, probably the 2013 season, he was really strong. He's just, and obviously he's doing stuff now. He was obviously man of the match the other day, weren't he, for Brentford?
yeah.
So who
I
knows?
think
But
as an overall defender, he was pretty much good at everything. He wasn't slow. He was decent on the ball. He defended very well. He got us goals at important times. I remember one. He's obviously scored in the last game at Upton Park, but I remember he scored that goal against Sunderland in the 90th minute at the London Stadium.
yeah,
He just seemed to have a knack of being there in the important occasions, whether that be defensively or offensively. He was just brilliant, a leader as well. You can't really complain about anything he did.
you can't. I mean, yeah, the only complaint was he got injured, and that's the only complaint, and
Yeah,
that's a shame. But unfortunately, that happens quite often to West Ham players. To be perfectly
yeah,
honest, isn't it? Unfortunately, nothing to do about it. It does seem to be a fault, not a fault of West Ham players, but it does seem to be there was a spate when we'd buy players and they would get injured quite a bit, and he was one of those unfortunate. But he's doing bits now, so fair play to him. Yeah, and hopefully, Brentford go up and they buy him maybe, and they put it down as a down payment for Ivor Tony. That'd be lovely. Right, so when
yeah.
he reads in, who's Willie going to partner in that centres then, my man?
Firstly, I'd like to apologise to the Italian Ramos, Angelo Bonner.
Mm,
My sincere apologies, Angelo, if you're watching, but
accepted.
you're not
Yeah,
here. It's going to be Reed's partner in crime, the ginger man himself, James Collins.
yeah. Good shout. Good shout.
As you say, I think he reminds me a lot of Dawson. The way he defends, he gets in
Yeah,
the way of everything. Scored crucial headers once again. Scored in crucial occasions. Um, he was just brilliant. Man marked Ronaldo in the Euros as well. Let's just say that.
yeah. But yeah, I can, and there was. It didn't surprise me when there was comparisons with Dawson and GP, because as you said, they'd both put their bodies on the line for the ball. They're old. It was old school defenders, and there was just something about him, wasn't he? And he just got the fans. And the fans got him.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen that often, particularly nowadays with players leaving and stuff like that, and you don't get that sort of bond. But obviously, Ginge went and came back, and I think coming back, it solidified his sort of his what's the word I'm thinking of? God's sake, Russ! It's that COVID jab. It's turning me head in. He's solidified his sort of relationship. That's the wrong word, but his relationship with the fans,
yeah,
and yeah, who knows? Well, I'd love him back on the coaching staff one day. Could you imagine they're going to have get all the old boys back, like the Blues
yeah,
Brothers, get the band
yeah.
back together. Noble, I even have Scott Parker as the manager. Noble as number 2. We'll have
Nolan.
Ginge. Nolan can stay on. He can stay.
Yeah,
Get Teddy in, because I think
yeah,
Teddy would be a good, forward coach. He's brilliant. No, I love it. Get Jimmy Walker, because he's at Ipswich. He can come back. Be brilliant.
yeah.
That'd be so good. Right. Okay. So that's a tough back four.
Oh, I've just remembered. I forgot to say a season. I'm going to go for the 13-14 as well. For Collins.
Yeah, good shout. Good
And
shout.
also, you should have had a testimonial. GSB, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I think honestly, one of those things with football now. I think for me, football, it's not to do with our owners or any other owner, but it's not just for me. Football has lost its sentimentality.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
I
has.
agree.
It has. It's not about the it's not about the love of the game anymore. It's about money, and it is. And it doesn't matter whether it's West Ham or City or Liverpool or Tottenham or all of them lot. It's you lose that sentimentality, and I think when it happens like that, or that was a I wouldn't say it was a football decision. That was because obviously Mark came on the pitch, didn't he? Do you remember? It was to give this man another season. Um,
Yeah,
it's one of those things where unfortunately it's just indicative of football now, which is a shame because we as fans still have that nostalgia, still have that time at West Ham when everyone had a testimonial, everyone was there for at least 5 or 6 years. It doesn't happen anymore now. So yeah, it was a shame, but who knows? I mean, to be honest, it'd be great to get Ginge on the pitch doing a waving goodbye properly. Now he's officially retired when all the fans are
yeah.
back in the stadium. So you never know, man. You never know. But yeah, right. We'll put GP in. Right, centre mids, midfield rather. Let's go for left wing. Who's on the left there, man?
Easy decision in Dimitri Payet.
Yeah.
The best. I'd say the best player I've ever seen at West Ham. On the ball, brilliant. Pretty much carried us up the league in some regards. When he didn't play, we were terrible. As I say, free kick master. Pretty much got known for his free kicks. Got in the France squad because of West Ham.
Yeah.
He was just absolutely brilliant. Unbelievable player. Terrible person.
Yeah, he's one of those players who. I'm with you. He was by far the best technical player I've ever seen at West Ham, without a doubt. And that's why we've had this sort of debate, this mass debate on the show before, where we've asked about is this season's team better than that season's team, and yes is my answer, because it was all about Dimitri Payet. And as you said, when
I
he
agree.
didn't play, no disrespect to the other 10 players, but when he wasn't on it, the team went on it. This team now are 11, and if one drops out, Antonio can't play, okay, Lingard will do this, and then Masuaku's out, okay, we'll go back to a back, but for that season, Payet was just, and also I think, we've had players who have been skillful, before and haven't played for a long time for the club, and sort of people have left them in good stead going forward. But I think because Payet was doing what he was doing in that last season, because it was such an important season, it's almost like a multiplier. So he might have got like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, but because it was the last game against Arsenal or the last game against Tottenham, that's then elevated to a 10. And I think Do you know what I mean? It's almost like an add-on, or like an upgrade on FIFA, a FIFA card, because it was
Yeah.
the last season. But no, there's no denying it. And unfortunately, I think that's the only time we're going to see a Ballon d'Or nominee in our team.
Oh, what a shame.
So a Ballon d'Or nominee actually in the season that he's playing for you, rather than
Yeah,
we
yeah,
buying Messi when he's 54. But do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So. But he was still. I mean, he was the best player I've ever seen. Technically, I think there's no denying it. He was a horrible person. Well, if led to be believed, a horrible person, but he was great.
Yeah.
I just thought he was brilliant, and he was absolutely magic, and got you off your seat, which was amazing. Right, okay, we'll put Dimmy on the left. Let's go on the right then. Who's going to be right?
I've gone for. I've not got much to pick from here, to be fair, but I've gone for Antonio, 15,
Yeah,
16 as well. He only played 26 games in the league that season, but I'd say he was one of our most important players in terms of getting in the seventh position. Obviously, it turned out to be no pointless getting Europa League because we went out to Astragugu, but
it's all right because they're 13th in the league this year.
yeah,
They're not getting to Europe this season. We're right. Go on, caravan. So
yeah. But Antonio was brilliant in terms of the way he drove up the pitch. As I said, he got goals. Not the best player to watch on the eye in terms of he has the first touch of a bar of soap, but he was he was excellent that season overall. And I think, as I said, he's one of the key reasons why we got in the top seven. And I don't think we would have if we didn't have him.
no, I totally agree. And I think with Mikhail as well, he's one of those players who I always respect players who have basically done it the hard way, and he has done it the hard way, and he's gone through non-league and he's worked his way up. He hasn't been like, an academy player from the age of 12 and, basically never cleaned a pair of boots in his life and, things like that. He's actually, scrapped all his way to get to that point. And it's almost like now he's enjoying it, this sort of not renaissance, but sort of this like twilight. I mean, because he's he's going to have a few more seasons. Hopefully, if his hamstrings, keep up.
Yeah,
I think that's the only trouble, isn't it? The only trouble is, his hamstrings, and unfortunately, that could be his downfall eventually. But I just think he's great, and he's got so much energy. And when he's on it, and he's got his bit between his teeth, there's no one in the league who can keep up with him. No one in
yeah,
the league.
yeah. I was
Um,
saying on Jake's channel the other day how um, Diaz and Stones wouldn't have faced a player like Antonio in that winning run, and it proved that he was the one who ended up scoring. I think
yeah,
he's a totally different proposition to the typical technically good but can't run in behind, not strong enough sort of striker. Antonio is completely different. Yes, as I've said about his touch, which is questionable at best,
yeah.
his passing's not great, but he just causes so many problems. He just hurts defenders. Half the time,
Mm.
he don't even know what he's doing, but ends up
No, exactly.
working.
No,
Yeah,
exactly. That's my thing. I always say about him. He has no idea what he's doing next. So how can a defender keep up? Know what to do with him? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It will never happen. And that's what I love about him. I love the fact that he has, and sometimes he's bloody awful, but sometimes he's unstoppable, and that's why he's a typical West Ham player. Typical West
yeah,
Ham player. Well, not now, but an old West Ham typical player, because that's what we would have done. We would have played brilliantly one game and really crap the next game. And you're thinking, how is this the same team? And that was the same as Antonio, bless him
yeah,
sometimes. Because it takes him a few games, doesn't it, to get up and running.
yeah, yeah,
And it's just a bit like West Ham, really. Once we got going, we're okay. And no, I think he's great. And he's only like a few off the top Premier League goal scorer,
yeah. He'll be there
for
eventually
us.
for us.
Which is
Yeah.
amazing. Fair play to him. Fair play. Right, put Mikel on the right. Who's going to be your first central midfielder then, my man?
I've had to go for Declan Rice.
Yeah,
One of my favourite players in West Ham. Obviously, he's still here now, and the love affair with Chelsea seems to have come to an end. Thank God.
yeah,
And hopefully, he's here for a lot longer. If we get Europe, I think he will be.
yeah.
And especially if we sign Lingard as well, I think them two seem to have got quite a good relationship in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch. They seem like quite good friends.
Mm.
Um, and as a defensive midfielder, he's got everything you want now. I truly believe I'd say the second best defensive midfielder in the league. Um, Obviously behind Suchek. No, I'm joking, but he is a brilliant player, and on the ball, I think he's great now. Defensively, he's class. Gives everything for the team. He's a captain now, obviously, which shows he's a leader. Even
Yeah.
now, he takes penalties. What can't he do?
I know, and I mean, even these free kicks he's trying to do now, these sort of
Yeah,
knuckleball free kicks, But
yeah,
I think that's brilliant. I think that it shows the willingness of him to do things like that, to
hmm
try new things, to look to develop his game. I just think I still think we've just scraped the surface with this boy. I
yeah.
think
I agree.
really there's so much more. And as you said, 20 was he 22, something like he's played 100 and God knows how many games for us. People forget how young he is, and the fact that he captains us, he's our sort of team captain, not the club captain, but he's our team captain. At the age of 22, we didn't bat an eyelid that he was 22. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you don't think of him how young he seems to be in the team forever, and
hmm
hopefully that will continue. And as you said, the Chelsea one door's gone closed with the Chelsea thing, but as long as that Man U and Man City and Liverpool doors
Yeah.
permanently shut, I don't care for the rest of them, to be honest. But no, he's a top man, and a top boy. I love the fact that I love listening to his interviews.
hmm
I love the just the camaraderie. When he's won, he's really happy. When he's lost, he's devastated, just like us. Um, it's lovely to see. And yeah, as you said with Lingard, I think he's actually really shrewd. Actually, I think him and Lingard really do bounce off each other, and I think
hmm
actually that could open up possibilities for people like Mount.
Yeah.
Sort of these young English midfielders. I mean, is Mount gonna get much more time under Thomas Tuchel? I don't know.
Fingers
You
crossed
know,
not.
hopefully not. I'd love him at West Ham. Could you imagine? So
Yeah.
it's just not the way that they thought it was going to happen. But fuck it, I don't care, man. I'll take him all day in a
Yeah.
bag of Sundays. Right, okay. So we'll put Mr. Rice in. Who's he going to partner in that midfield then?
Um, it was hard. It was between Noble in 15-16, in which I think was a perfect captain season. I think
Yeah,
it should have been a criminal offence that he wasn't called up to England that year.
definitely.
He was definitely better than, okay, yes, Leicester won the league, but he's a better midfielder than Danny Drinkwater was, in my opinion.
Yep,
And he got a call up. But I've had to go for. I'm going to win. I'm going to get in the top four here with this team, and
yep.
if I'm going to do that, I need Rice's partner in crime, and that is obviously potato salad, Thomas Suchek. I
Salad
think,
and rice.
yeah, he's a player who every time I see a stat of him, he seems to be high up in terms of
Great
in the
shout.
league.
Yeah, yeah,
But I saw today progressive passes in Europe. He's in the top 5 in Europe. Um, how much he's run, he's the best in the Premier League. He's won the most aerial duels in the Premier League. He's scored the most goals of any defensive midfielder. So you look at any stat and he seems to be up there. Long balls, he's completed the most long balls in the Premier League in terms of percentage. What can't he? He's just
yeah,
brilliant. It was just such a signing. He brought Sufal, sorry, obviously along with him, which was a great signing in itself. And he was one of the main reasons we stayed up, and he's now one of the main reasons we're pushing for the Champions League places and
yeah.
off the pitch as well. He's great, isn't he?
He's great, and I just think he. And I think Gio did some stuff about him the other day, and it was like literally everything. He went through all the different. I think it was something I can't remember. That's really going to annoy me. But he literally went through like all the like the as you said, attacking runs into the box,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
in. No, tell a lie. It wasn't him. It wasn't Gio. Sorry, Gio. It was James Alcott, and
hmm
he was in the 99th pensile, whatever it was. So he was in the top 1% of all midfielders in Europe or something ridiculous like that. For like all these different
Yeah, he's top of
classifications.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah, he's just brilliant, isn't he? I just think he's what I like about him is he just, as you said, he seems like a really nice bloke as well,
yeah.
and that makes a massive deal when you're
hmm
looking at it all. Um, he's just a top guy. And he
Yeah.
just seems to. And it's something about the Czech boys. They just literally don't give up,
Mhm.
and we love that when it, because it just shows you that. Yeah, and that's the whole team. The whole team doesn't give up. We might be 1-0 down. We obviously we was it Leeds. Obviously Leeds scored, and we didn't
Yeah.
care. And Crystal Palace and things like this, and we know we're still going to get a result out of them. And he epitomises it. And I just think absolute bargain for
Yeah.
and again unlike us, buying players and making a profit potentially if we ever did sell him.
Yeah.
Um, we've bought 3 players under Moyes, and arguably we'd make a profit on all of them. A tidy profit on
Mhm.
Sufal, tidy profit on Souček, and a tidy profit on Bowen as well.
Mhm.
If we ever sold them, but no, I think he's great. And as you said, if he's Hammer of the Year and Souček and Sufal is runners up, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, I agree. You can just tell as well when they go home from the game at 3 o'clock in the night, they're just laying there thinking, "Oh, how did we not win today?" Like
Yeah,
against City, you can just tell they're just like they just leave the room. They're like, "Sorry, I have to have another reflection on the match." They're just kicking themselves at one misplaced pass.
yeah, but I love that. I don't, I love the
Yeah,
fact that they know exactly what they're going to be doing, and
yeah,
it's just something about it. Just, I mean, we do have a good record against with Czech players.
hmm,
Repka, Klosko, Sufal, Souček, Kovac. They're all
yeah,
there. They're all there. And no, he's brilliant. And him and Rice, it's just worked. And it's a pairing. I don't think there's a better pairing in the Premier League.
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
I can't think of one. And it's great that he's top of all these charts, but he should be. We're fourth in the league. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
like we're like 10th and he's like a shiny guy. We're fourth in the league. We should be top of these charts. So it's good that we are. But right,
yeah.
okay. Up front, who's your first striker then, my man?
Well, what I've gone with is I've gone with one striker sort of peeling off as an attacking midfielder, and then one central striker. I'm going to
Yeah.
go with the central striker first, which is it once again pains me to say it because I'm not his biggest fan. But in terms of overall quality and what he done with the football, I thought on his day he could be Ronaldo, and on another day he could be me. I've gone with Marko Arnautovic.
Yeah. It's a good shout. Yeah, it's a good shout, Marco.
And I'm going to go for the season under Moyes. It was mainly the second half of the season because let's be honest, first half, my God, was he awful. But as that's what I've said. Like he can play like Ronaldo, and then the next week he can play like the upfront version of Titus Bramble. Um, so yeah, that just
I
summed him up.
and again, he was. I know, like how he left and things like that. But again, he was a prop. I'd say, again, another proper West Ham player. Do you know what I mean? He was like a
Yeah,
bastard, but he was our bastard. And
yeah,
as you said, when he was on our gate, we'd love. One of those players you love him when he's playing for you. When he's not playing for you, you hate him. And
yeah,
I mean, I think about that game against Burnley where he just laughs in Ben Mee's face.
hmm,
If that was for anyone else, we'd be like, "Oh, what a bastard!" But we were like laughing
yeah,
before he did it. And yeah, he could be mesmeric, and obviously Moyes, he gave him that sort of. Well, I use this verb, Moyesification. He's done it more than once. Where once would be lucky. But when you do it 2, 3 times, when you're changing a player from their natural position or their supposed natural position into a new position, so with Arnautovic, with Antonio, with Fornals, with Cresswell, with Masuaku, with
yeah,
Fredericks, he's moving, and it's incredible how he does it. And Arnautovic was, as you said, he was when he signed for us, he was gash. He was stuck on the right wing doing nothing. Moyes went, right, you're a nasty bastard. Go up front and just laugh and terrorise those attackers. And as you said, when he was on it, wasn't
hmm.
he? Yeah, I like nasty players like that. Right, okay, so we'll put Arnie in. And there's one more spot, my man. Who's it going to go to?
I've gone with a slightly controversial one, as I do believe. Well, he only got 7 goals at West Ham, but the way he played overall was just brilliant. I've had to go with Carlos Tevez.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, he did keep us up to the tears of the Sheffield fans, more tears than there is water in the Mediterranean Sea that on that day. But it was brilliant seeing him keep us up, obviously, and you can tell by the career that he's gone on to have. You could tell when he was at us what a player he was, and he had the potential to be the player he turned into eventually. Unbelievable on the ball. He scored that free kick against Tottenham, I think. That was a brilliant goal. Celebrate with the fans. Says he still loves West Ham fans. I don't know whether to believe that or not, but take with that what you will. But
I think it's
but
true. I think he does. I think speaking to, um, I've spoken to a few players who played with him
yeah,
as well, and yeah, I think he just did. I mean, I think wasn't it? He didn't say something a few months ago that the only team he would go to if he came back in Europe would be West Ham,
yeah,
which did surprise me. But then the fans love him. Do you know what I mean? And so
hmm
it does surprise me in some respects, but in some other respects it doesn't, because he's just like, I can see that, because he was such a, he brought back the crossed hammers really and all that stuff, and he really got to the fact, again, it'd be like James Collins really, he's like, Tevez wasn't from around these parts, he never learnt the language, but the fans just took to him because he had that sort
yeah,
of, a bit like this whole team now. They just try and they keep running, and even when he wasn't scoring, I remember there was like, it was a bit like Ben Rama now. They can't
yeah,
score for toffee, but he keeps trying, and one
yeah,
will go in, and then that will be it. Then he'll take off,
hmm
and that's exactly what happened to Carlos. And yeah, no, I loved him. I loved it. And again, as you said, he wasn't here for a long time, but he made a massive impact for us in a very, very short amount of time, which just shows you how much of a quality player he was.
yeah.
Yeah, and everything about him, just the bizarreness of him joining and things like that. That's what I love, man. Right, so we've got. Let me just. You can't really see it, but I'll put it on the screen for everyone else, because if not, they'll moan. Right, so let me take Carlos off. So we've got Fabianski in goal. We got Cresswell, Collins, Kufau, and Reed. I don't know why I said it that way around, but I did. Payet, that sort of went right back to the centre back.
Yeah,
It's like going Payet, Rice, Antonio, Suchek. No, Payet, Suchek, Rice, and Antonio. Carlitos and Arnautovic up front. I ain't being funny. That is a great team.
yeah. I think it's got that mixture of hard work, determination. Then you've got the players like Payet, Arnautovic, Tevez, who Tevez obviously does still work hard, but
Yeah,
on their day, they're some of the best talents in the Premier League.
definitely, my man. Definitely, buddy. And that's it, my man. Thank you so much for your time, West Ham Online. It's
Thank
been
you.
lovely chatting to you. And thank you to everyone else for watching or listening. Probably more listening than watching, to be honest, because you have to watch me for 57 minutes rather than West Ham Online's icon. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Until next time, myself, I'm not going to do I'll do the cross hammers, but you can do it in your head. We can't see if you
Yeah,
do it. Um,
I'll get my logo to do it. It's already doing it.
so we're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
For myself and from West Ham Online, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Get your jabs. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye bye.